mute my.
They got all their stuff.
How many people do we have on Zoom, Joe?
There's only 6.
Accept the agenda as submitted.
Okay.
Me,
I.
Kyle,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Tom votes aye. The motion passes.
Okay, very good.
Where we get the
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, I like that. Like it.
It's weird that that's put.
Okay, next. Okay, board members, we're gonna go around the table, consents have all been sent in, but if there's, just a reminder, if there's anything that, in addition to when you turned it in, something like, give you a couple, 2-3 minutes to go ahead and give us anything additional, if there isn't, that's okay too. So I'll start off with mine, Robert's Rules of Familiarity. I downloaded on my Spotify, so it's a great 3-hour drive back to, back home. So guess what I get to listen to? The Robert's Rules of
Keeps me awake at least to a certain part, so I followed up with that to try to become more familiar with Robert's rules. Newsletter articles, submitted that. Email follow-up with Harker Lepore and any documents to Michelle. Michelle, I still have some documents that I need to get you. I've been sifting through this stuff, but we're going to go into executive session today, and there's some things Bruce is going to be able to advise us on whether or what we need to keep in archive. We need to keep everything, but what we can post or not post, and so on and so forth. So I will follow up with that, and that'll be continued on for my next commitment. So, yeah, we had a good meeting with Harker and the attorneys with our D and O attorneys. So, yeah, we're in a good spot there, and so on and so forth. So that's it for me for my what I committed to. Vice President.
We continue to have good dialogue with Mr. Stills. We have put together some basic framework for the some ideas on how we would put together a marina rights agreement. The next step is just simply to we'd like Lauren to share with us his ideas before we start putting anything down on paper, and we expect to meet with him in the next 30 days. We just he's been traveling, we've been traveling, we haven't had a chance to sync up yet. I did want to mention outside of my consent agenda, I ran into Kevin Spencer. He has he'd like to pave some additional space on the runway. I pointed him to Kevin, thinking he's the paving guy, but then I know I talked to Mike about it. He's the airport guy. Anytime somebody like Kevin that wants to give back to our community and pay for that type of thing, I just want to make sure it doesn't slip through the cracks. So, and I know Randy also, Panic is also kind of in the mix of that. I just want to make sure that we get back to Kevin and Spencer and have a plan on whatever the outcome on paving of the runway.
I really appreciate the volunteer kind of stuff like that popping up, as long as it has no bearing or issue or nothing.
Yeah, I think it's all common area space he wants to do some work on, and it'd be nothing but a positive.
Okay, Mike, you got anything to comment on that, since kind of falls into your new,
No, I haven't talked to Kevin yet, but
Okay.
it's been discussion. I think it's great. So. And then it's not my turn yet, but I was gonna bring up that I'd like to get Jordan Engler to be an airport manager since I'm the director. So I don't know if we want to vote that on today. So.
we can, and we don't have, we can skip around any way we want. So Kyle, are you done with your?
Yeah, I'm good with mine.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and go next since you guys kind of dovetail together.
So Jordan Engler, owns property along the runway, and then he owns two properties here on Three Rivers. And he expressed he wants to be the airport manager, and of course, I'm to be the director. And I'd just like to vote on him with you guys and make sure that's all good. And he's been a pilot since he's been 15 years old, and he flies for United. And he has a real passion to do stuff for that airport and stuff like that. And
Yeah, so you feel pretty comfortable with him about
oh,
performing.
I really do. He has a great family. Kids are
Enough
good.
for me.
He's really good family. So,
Good enough for me. Could you mind inviting him to the next meeting and so we can all
Yeah.
get a look at him? say
yeah,
hello?
yes. I talked to him a little bit this morning. He's all good with that. He's just super busy. He's always flying way overseas to China area. So he's,
Sounds good. Well, that's great. That's, yeah, getting on it. So get stuff done. Appreciate it. You want to make a motion on that, right?
I would like to make a motion to vote for Jordan Engler.
Okay, do we have a second for the gentleman?
I second.
Discussion? Any further questions or anybody has any issues with that or anything?
I trust Mike.
Okay, very good. Call for a vote.
Slide around. Tammy,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Tom, I, Ed.
I don't need to vote.
Yeah,
but
you. I know,
That's
but-
okay.
But if you want to go record.
Aye.
Okay.
Or you can put on record as an aye.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then since it's still my turn,
Please.
I've got two new people on my committee, and I'd like to welcome Sam Walker and Jeff Barry. I don't know if we needed to vote them in or I'd just let you know.
I'd like to, just because we'll ask Kevin to vote, his team member in as well when the time comes, just to make it all official,
Yeah.
so.
And Mike, could you give me the second name again, please?
Jeff Barry,
Jeff Berry,
yes,
is it Berry?
Berry, yeah. And Sam Walker.
Yeah, I've got him.
Okay.
Should we vote, or should we motion that in both at the same time or one at a time? Probably one at a time, huh?
You're the Roberts.
Okay, so we did it.
I got.
Okay, I can make it the command of that. Since I did it individually originally, we'll just continue with that. So if you want to make a motion for Sam, then we'll.
I'd like to make a motion for Sam Walker.
I second. Do I have to second?
Does can you?
You want me to do
Full motion, what you.
for R&R, for the committee on R&R? Thank you, Tom.
Sure.
And I will second that.
Discussion? Questions? Call for a vote?
Okay, let's go Tammy,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Tom votes aye, unanimous.
So I'll make a motion to have Jeff Barry to be on the R&R committee.
Second.
Discussion,
Call for a vote?
call for a vote. Tammy,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Tom votes aye, unanimous.
Perfect. Motions pass. Welcome to the team.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else on rules and regs or?
No, right now I don't really have, we did talk about the last meeting, we changed, where the landowners are responsible for their thing, but we want that on the first page, but I don't have that ready. That's just something we talked about.
Okay,
So,
okay, very good. Okay, moving along, secretary, treasurer.
I don't have any report beyond what's in the consent agenda.
What about exploring the financial audit? Where are we at with that, with that piece?
We're not, our meeting minutes are not in order. We're having an audit done and, the accounting firm has asked for all the minutes from 2024 to complete their audit and, I've made a request and I made 3 requests and I've yet to get the minutes.
So is it that we have the minutes, they're not,
They're posted on the website in the minutes.
So I went into the website behind my login to find the documents. Can you pull that up for us?
documents?
I just have it in different books, like,
I went up to the, to the documents section piece.
so that's why I'm saying, let me get into,
Oh,
my view is different because I have a different book.
you're special.
So April will only come up whenever those are approved, which Scott should. So they,
I mean, I don't know if they're there, but I just couldn't find them.
yeah, so they're, unfortunately, the way that it was being done, it was put as part of the full agenda. So Anita is trying to get them all separated out and loaded and mail that to me. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. I know, I don't know where you guys are at with that, if you actually got it, but I know she's got all the minutes. I don't know if
Yes,
you're
it's
helping
just
with that.
it's just that we're so busy in the office with customers, people coming in with problems that, it's taking us a little longer than it should, but we're getting there.
So where she's at, I can't speak to that, because
back up to the next month, so
I don't
that's
think she's
February.
back in 2025 yet. She's still on 2024 because it didn't get approved.
Right, but my request would be that even though the minutes from the annual meeting weren't approved, that they be posted as draft or whatever. It's important for the board to be able to review the minutes and store the minutes so that we can refer back to things
Be more transparent.
and be more transparent for our landowners, but oftentimes we get in a situation where like, didn't we already talk about this? Because, we're not all 25 with these super sharp memory. It's nice to be able to go back, look at the minutes real quick and say, oh yeah, we voted on that and whatever.
Well, I meant to have this conversation with Dave up here in front of him. I didn't know he was not here, so I would rather have this discussion with Dave before we go through there, so we have him a chance to respond, since this all falls under his responsibilities.
so it looks like all of 2024, we flipped through here, so there's November's minutes. December minutes, so it's just 2020.
Where's the minutes for October?
They are right there. So they have it into. They
Yeah,
load them
pop
twice.
those up real quick, would you, please?
Part of the problem that we're having too, as Randy Geisler and I have been talking about, is everybody has a different system of record and what they're using. So some use Word, some use Google Docs, some use text, some use. So whenever there's a document that is sent to be posted, it needs to be in a PDF.
PDF, okay, so your ask for us is any documents that need to be uploaded to the site should be in PDF.
Correct.
Easy enough.
And that way, no matter who's downloading it or looking at it, they can see it instead of you have to have, like, I only can see this because on my personal laptop, I have Word. But if you were in the office right now, if you use Google Docs, they would not be able to pull this up. If you were Randy at home, you might not be able to pull that up because you don't have the same program that you're using.
All right, okay,
The PDF eliminates that. And
so,
it makes it so it's not manipulated. It's the document, so you can't change it.
and then where are we at with the annual meeting minutes? We got 2 years worth of meeting minutes that are not posted, that we have to,
I don't have those. So the 2024 minutes were not approved.
where do we house the ones that were presented but not approved?
They're out here on. So as far as the main document, you'd have to ask Bill. I don't know who actually put those together for him. So I did not put the main stuff together. I'm sorry. My bad.
Well, I went through and I took a look and I found that chat recording.
Yeah.
It was like 4 hours. I went through that thing. It was
Yeah.
like 4
have
hours
to ask
of trying to
Ed.
figure that thing out, try to make sense of it so that we could, I talked to our attorney, we can present both, minutes at the next annual meeting for the last 2 years and we can get those into place. But I
Yeah.
couldn't find a place, I couldn't find them so that I could, review them and see what we need to do to,
So you might ask Stacy
Yeah.
because Stacy was helping Bill with all of that process. I didn't have anything with the annual
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, we should ask for, at least put them up as draft status so that we can refer to them.
so the person we want to assign that responsibility to is Stacy, is that what we're saying?
She's,
I want to go through Dave, because Dave's the responsible one. When does Dave get back, by the way? Is he on vacation for a period of time? Good. Well, let's put it on his to-do list since he's not here. All right. Okay, so do you have what you need to be able to move forward with the audit?
visit it.
Alright.
I don't know.
Okay,
I sent a request to the secretary to have him just send me the stuff, and I made 3 requests and I got nowhere.
okay, so when he gets back, we'll have to do that because we're on hold until then, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, co-op bank credentials, we're all handled with that?
Yeah, we just have to go down. Well, yeah, we have to go down and sign the signature cards.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm gonna
went
come-
down and signed mine, I went down and
Okay,
filled it out, so we're good
well, I'll be
there.
back up on Wednesday and I'll stop at there and sign mine.
Okay. Anything else spiritual wise?
No,
Board 5 Director, Tammy.
Mine's gonna be quick. I did a site review on Upper Canyon, gonna recommend approval for that. And then John is going to report on the gun club.
I don't know if they can hear me on Zoom, I don't project well, but the gun club in the last 30 days, we did handle the ladies training course, which went over very well. We had 4 people go through the class, took about 3.5 hours or so with a couple hours on the range, so they were very appreciative and we'd like to see this class continue. We do have the Memorial Weekend craft shoot on Saturday. And that'll go from 9 a.m. till noon. And I also met with people on with archery interest, and we put John Franzone in place as that committee chairman. And since it's under the gun club, I don't think it needs your vote at this point. Otherwise, I'd be happy to tell you a little bit about him, if that's something you feel you want to approve. He will be the responsible person on some of the excavation on common property. So
And he's a member of the gun club?
he is not a member of the gun club at this point.
Okay,
He hopefully will join, but basically he was the standout person of the 6 people that were on John's Joe's committee when we first went through the use of the Grapevine Annex. And I met with him a couple of times. He's a guy that lives in Redmond. He is a competitive archer that actually tours the Northwest and does some shooting. He has contacts with suppliers that will give us targets wholesale. He's just a great fit. And the co-chairman is going to be Jake Wren. Jake figures he can bring the excavation up to do the initial burn work and so on. So the gun club will be picking up the targets, the excavation, all of those expenses to kick off the archery this year.
Okay, well, he sounds like, I don't think he's representing Three Rivers or anything at this point. She's just one of your guys that's gonna be helping us out and volunteering.
It's a long-term property.
Oh, okay, well, for the gun club, okay. Although we need to vote in anybody for your gun club as a member, but I certainly appreciate you working with Kevin, and as you always have and always will, working together and having that extra resource. So I don't think we need to officially put him anywhere, but you can certainly put him in on the gun club, and we'll all know who he is, but that's cool. Glad you got some volunteers for that.
Whatever activities, as soon as I get something in writing, I'll share that.
Have you met with him at all, Kev? Do you know who it is in case he's like another hand down there? Do you know the guy?
I met him yesterday.
Okay.
briefly.
Okay,
Seem like very good people.
cool. All right, that's,
The other
Well-
thing on Three Rivers, we'll be talking about reducing the budget available to our improvements to the common area. And I'll take those remaining funds and continue to focus on improving the stairway system from the rifle parking area down to the rifle shooting deck. And that's a liability exposure I think we have. It's we try to rebuild them a bit, but we need something else done. Right now, we're looking if we can do at least part of that in expanded metal stairs so that during the snow in the winter and so on, it's gonna get people on and off that deck safely.
yeah, Rob said he had a source for that, maybe, Meg's son. Rob, I'm sorry, your son?
That fell through.
Oh, it did, okay, all right, I was curious, all right.
So one of the last things, because we talked about yesterday, is if the board would consider promoting the gun club on the Three Rivers website.
Any problem with that?
Didn't it used to be? There was a link on the old one.
Is that an ask, John?
Yeah, right now, under the neighborhood category, it drops down and we access the Big Canyon Gun Club website. And maybe you can refresh my memory a little bit about what Rob was also on our meeting yesterday, and they were thinking about promoting the raffle tickets more on the website, or I think that was.
Yeah, I think that, and or joining the gun club too.
Well, this looks pretty good. It's just a link off of our website, right? Well, that's awesome. So,
That already has membership options.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was there.
yeah, well, this looks really good. What's the ask, John, if you don't mind me asking, because this looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's something that we should talk through a little bit more.
Okay.
And make sure we understood what Rob was talking about. It sounded good yesterday. But
Yeah, I know.
Can't came in and disrupted our.
Is he thinking on this part where you
Yeah,
go
the
on
landing
our page?
Yeah,
You thinking there that maybe putting something out here? I mean, we could make this as beautiful as you want it to be too, not wanting to take away from yours. So
I think it's, before I ask you to vote on a change, we should go ahead and further define exactly what we want,
Sounds good.
what to look at.
Well, it's a good looking site.
Hey, Ed, I
Sure.
did have, one Well, we want to provide a quick update on bingo. I don't know if now is the time to do that. Or if there's a committee reports. I make sure that we have room for that. Part of I'm responsible for the volunteer fund. Meg has an update on bingo. I don't know if we want to do it during this thing or if we want to do it someplace else in the.
Yeah, and I've got you down for volunteer fundraising committee as part of the report out. Yeah, so just as a reminder, because it's a good question is. When we do our consent agendas, we give just 2-3 minutes of something happened between on a Friday, Saturday before our meeting. That's a good time for a quick brief heads up, here's a change. But when we get into the committees, because they don't submit consent agendas yet at this time, that's when there's gonna be a little more discussion and meet, so we give them a time for that. So I do have you on the docket here for a little more in depth to make sure on that, so. Okay, cool. Yeah, Tammy, anything else?
That's it for me.
Awesome. And next would be Board 7, Steve.
Okay, the heat loop in the ground, I'm still waiting for the company to have us on their schedule. They're very busy. Library is ready to be moved. I had the office put a note on the website. Excuse me, I'm not a Facebook person, the Facebook site, asking for volunteers to help with the actual move and actually asking for volunteers to spruce up the inside of that building. It is completely cleaned and sanitized and ready to go for that. 3RW is set to go. We're gonna have a meeting this Thursday with the volunteers to assign spots like the gate and the beach and patrolling, that kind of thing. We do have uniforms showing up and t-shirts and sweatshirts, that kind of thing, so they stand out. And Tom got a
Question.
voice.
Is that budget coming from volunteer fund? Or
Security.
security?
That's, it's part of this APR security company, dropping their hours down to be affordable. The 3RW is stepping up for that. I didn't ask Kyle for permission to use his funds, so, it's all about the security,
Yeah, I
section, so.
just thought it was.
You can,
Yeah.
Kyle, you want to pay for some t-shirt?
I don't know what the ask was. We agreed to pay for two-way radios for the 3R watch. That's been acquired. We spent $300 on that. I don't know what the ask is. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we've got a $1,500 bill for an enormous amount of.
Well, is there enough money in the funds to cover that expense?
There is enough. I'm gonna have to adjust the security company's hours to compensate. I think I'm over the budget by about $400 or $500 by the time the end of the summer is up. So it fits in my budget.
Okay, just for everybody's concerns, right? We are on a really tight budget this year. We don't have much fluff. So you've really got to stick to your budget. If you're gonna do something that goes over on your budget, you need to talk to Ed or bring it before the board because we're just, there's no fact.
So, with that being said, so 400 or 500, so you might have to drop that. Boy, I tell you, those security hours are pretty critical for us for safety wise. Is there any place that we could find to cover that 400 or 500? We're all learning as we go. Is there any way we can find a spot collectively together to figure out how to cover that 4 or 5?
The
So,
volunteer fund will fund we'll take care of it.
okay,
We'll take care of that. I think the work that group is doing is critical. Security is important. Steve and I we didn't get up on that. We're happy to pay for it.
awesome. That
really helps.
that's awesome.
Appreciate
I
it.
love it when everybody just pitches in and makes it happen. Can do. I can't begin to tell you how cool that makes me happy. All right,
Yeah.
very good. So we're good. Anything else, Steve?
No, that covers me.
Okay, very good. All right, That's it for our consent agenda and board member submissions. Now we're going to committee reports. John, you've already done a nice job with that one. Thank you for that. Anything else extra to add?
Today.
Okay. LCF&R, I asked Jim to attend. I didn't see him today, but that's okay. We'll keep asking, and I know that with the I know we've got great representation there. At this moment in time, I want to verify, is there an open board position for LCF&R? Okay,
There's 3 of them that we voted on.
okay. Is there anybody from Three Rivers that's on the docket for consideration for a board position?
My son Rob is a writing,
Steve Coffin-Dix.
Robin Crouch.
Steve is as well? Okay,
Yeah, Steve Hoffus is named, he has 1 position. Then there's another position that's named, and then the 3rd position is Robert Buckner, who's been on the board for at least 15 years. That position is the one that Rob, my son Robert Crouch, is wanting to be written in for. So Three Rivers has some more representation. Until Steve Hoffus, we didn't have a board member representing Three Rivers, and we pay the lion's share of taxes for LCF&R.
okay, so I just want to make sure, Steve was on a temporary, but now he has to reassign, or now he has to run for his position. And Rob is gonna run as well, so we have 2 representatives running for a board spot at
So
LCF.
Rob's for position 3, he is not running
Oh.
against Steve Hoffus, no.
Okay, that's what I was
He's
trying to get to,
running
okay,
against Robert Buckner. as a
okay,
write-in.
okay, very
And
good.
the end of that will be- So, yep.
Tuesday, the 20th, okay. Is there any way we can put anything out on the website, Michelle, to just say urge to act, please, vote for your, choice candidate, something to remind people to vote in? Because I know that, we're the bigger entity than Rim Park or Forest Park, and we really would like some representation. So we really need to, yeah, if whatever we can do to support that, it would be really awesome.
There's also a bond vote for LCF&R, so get your votes in.
Okay. Anything else, LCF&R wise? If not. Yes, Mr. Pettit.
Has the board received a letter from Lake Chinook Fire and Rescue since their last board meeting?
I have not, no.
Anything come into the office?
Michelle, have you seen anything from LCF&R?
Just wondering.
Was there something we're expecting, or should we?
Well,
Or is
I
it?
don't want to start a rumor mill or anything, but I had a conversation with one of the fire district board members, and they stated that they were sending a letter out stating that Dawn is resigning.
Again.
Yeah, I did hear a rumor on that, but until we see a document, it's rumor. I get you, Randy. Okay, so no, we have not received anything official on that one, so that one's. We'll squelch that rumor until it becomes
I also
real.
heard somebody that was in attendance at the meeting that was announced, and he would be available for contract work after that.
Okay. All right, well, we'll address it when we get it officially. Okay, LCF&R's done. Firewise. Anything on the Firewise side? Any updates? We good on Firewise? Going once, twice? Roads. Kevin,
I think we had a roads meeting yesterday, attended by quite a few people. Now, did you want to vote my committee members in now?
yeah, let's do it first up if you like,
That's what I was thinking. So can I do all 3 at once, or do you want?
one at a time.
Okay, Mike Fisher. Make a motion for Mike to be on my committee.
I second.
Randy Panic.
All right, excellent. We got a second, discussion,
We lost Tammy.
vote. Oh. Okay, as soon as she comes back.
Yeah.
It could happen.
We still have a quorum here anyway.
You want to start with me voting or?
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
quorum.
we have a
I'm just
quorum.
not used to somebody walking out in the middle of a vote. So, there's always something new going on in Three Rivers. It's always awesome.
I stated it.
Okay, so, call for a vote. Call for a
Mike?
vote.
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Tom, I, unanimous.
Okay. Next one up on the list there, Kev.
Randy Panic, make a motion for him to be on the.
I second.
Roll call.
Tammy,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Tom votes aye.
Okay, and then, Ed Beechek.
I second.
Roll.
Hold on, I don't like that guy. I'm tired, give me a break.
That's all that.
Tammy,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
I don't know, think about this
Discussion.
discussion. Well, unanimous pass.
Jeez, I barely got in there, man. Nice.
It's
Okay.
Squeaker.
And that's
Thanks,
all the
Kev.
people that have approached me to be on the committee. A lot of other people are in attendance, but that's all.
Yeah, your meeting's have been well attended.
Anyway, yesterday we approved the minutes of the April 26th meeting. Our annual budget is 22,000. We've only spent 1,960 to date. But I did release some work, this month. And that that was Red Urbac from Helena. Provided a quote of 4,000 to spray all the shoulders with pre-emergent. And we decided to go ahead with it. He gave us a pretty good deal on that. It's usually a lot more, but anyway, I approved $4,000 and the work was done on May 8th. Mike Patton, provided me a budget, for cleaning up the shoulders on the uphill side from, Lakeview from, Fly Creek to Memorial Wall. And he did that work, I believe last week. I haven't got a bill from him yet on that. I did look at it and it looked like it was done the best he could. The very wall up there. He worked on it.
Sure is.
In the meantime, this is not in the annual budget, but now we're going to our, assessment budget. We had the pothole repairs and I got the quote in this week from Tri-County. And I looked it over and I wrote the roads. The proposal was received and discussed yesterday at the meeting. His proposal was 198,960 less rock. We're gonna need about 375 to 450 yards of 3/4 of rock, which is about $20,000. So that total cost came in at 219,210. Now, in that budget that we have for our assessment, we only have 178,000. So obviously there's a shortfall there of around $41,200. And I will expand on that after my report on finances. It was discussed to table the altering of Rifle Range Road and using those funds to help with the road repair or remove some areas for the road repair until next year. So old business was discussed. Altering Rifle Range Road was presented to the board on April 27th. And the board of directors decided to give us the funds to do that work through volunteer services with help from Daycon Incorporated for any hammer work, excavation, or hauling unforeseen. And the estimate from DDL for all the rock, I signed that contract. I gave you an estimate of 30,000 to 34 to complete the work. And anyway, I did follow up yesterday with the gun club, saw John and with VDL, who's providing the rock. And he apologized for not informing me of the situation where we're at, but they do have the rock. They've been blasting this week and crushing. They have the rock there, and just the communication wasn't clear. But anyway, they have 23 loads there of the 59 that I ordered, and it will be delivered by May 28th. He gave me his word on that. So the work is now scheduled to be started on May 29th, when it said it would be started. Okay, new business. There was a complaint in about a houseboat trailer on a road easement, and the owner was in attendance, named Carl Johnson. And I asked him to provide me a answer on a temporary basis by the next road meeting. And I don't know if this really falls under roads, but he showed up at the meeting and it's in the road easement. And I looked at it and yeah, it's in the road easement. So the pump house has been repaired. It's up and running. Mike Fisher headed that up with Chris Hoops. And I checked it out yesterday with Mike and it works pretty good. I don't know if it works as good as when you were running it, but I have no questions for you on it. But anyway, it's up and running and we're gonna build a wall in there between the new electronics and our pump. And I got a local contractor has offered to provide the lumber for that project. So, and Mike Fisher will perform the labor.
Nice.
That's it. And then my last thing on new business is it's been going around a little while and the volunteer fundraising community are here. We've discussed several things, maybe helping out with that water tank that you have. You know, obviously money is tight. It would be nice to be able to enclose those snow plows and maybe it's been talked about and since they're here, they can say if they're interested or not, but it was talked about possibly incorporating that water tank in with a 3-sided building, and maybe a can sort area. I was gonna do a sketch, it was worth it. Obviously, nothing would happen in here, but I have some people I can reach out to that might help with a 3-sided building. So that was the new business. So I don't know if you guys have any comment or we can talk about that later, but that's where that lies.
Well, my initial thoughts on, from the volunteer fund, and Meg and I haven't discussed, but, having a 3-sided building down there where we can, close, you know, assets for our community, specifically the snow plows. And, you know, my vision was having a little covered area outside of that 3-sided area where, we can move the can sort area, you know, incorporate that as part of it. Right now, the way we have it, all those cans are stacked up right next to the building. So I think having an improved place for us to count cans, I think there's enough interest to at least investigate what that would cost. You know, I don't think we could afford to pay for the entire building. I think part of that needs to be part of the, you know, for the roads, in my opinion. The snow plows, you know, are part of the roads. I think we need to take care of the equipment that we have. But I think there's enough interest to understand what the cost would be and have an improved area for the cans. That would be my take. Stacking all those cans right next to the building to me is unsightly. Rodents, you know, there's a lot of reasons to move it. I just don't understand what the cost would be. And how much we could do with volunteer work versus, yeah, just understanding the cost, I think, is the most important. So put something down on paper and try to put some numbers to it.
So that could be included in the road assessment next year in the plan, presented for the membership, so everybody understands what's going on, and have a conceptual drawing and a budget, and I don't see what happens, huh? Okay, that's the end of my report. Now I'm going to discuss the work that's coming up, since we have a shortfall here. So if everybody understands what I said, with the bids from Tri-County, we're taking out a few items on their bid. It came down to $188,000. The rock, I budgeted 20,000, so that's just to say 108,430 roughly. My budget for Rifle Range Road improvement is 31,075. That allows, from the legal fund, that leaves $7,370 that I could borrow from that fund or take from that. So if we take off what we have, and we have that 7,000, we're $23,000 shortfall. John and I discussed yesterday that they're willing to help out with $5,000. So that brings us down to, needing about $15,000, out of which Tom said the budgets are very tight. It kind of come down to 3,000, and I believe I have enough rock stock here, and he just estimated the rock. We don't know what the base is like, so we've overestimated it probably. But at any rate, 15,000 is what we're short to perform both those jobs this year, or I can take out some road repair. And I drove for the last 2 days looking at all of them, and there's just not too many that we let a lot of areas go till next year that are on the brink. And anyway, that's my end of my report. So I just need to know if I need to get board input on this, or it was discussed heavily yesterday.
Well, just to kick off from the board perspective, hey, Kevin, I appreciate the hell out of you trying to find every single place that we can squeeze from, and it's not easy having to prioritize and make a decision who doesn't get fixed at this point. That's a tough call. It just is. So we're short within 15 grand. So I would ask the board, put on our thinking caps and just come up, how could we make this happen? We're close to getting all of the repairs done for this year and that road to Rifle Range. Just roll it up into one ball and get that stuff accomplished for this year. And we're 15 grand short. I'm up for any ideas on where we can scrape to get 15 grand. And if we need to go 5, I don't mind. I don't have, Jerry's been really good. And I made it clear yesterday's meeting that anytime we've asked Jerry for anything additional above and beyond what he's ever been required for us and part of our agreement, he's always said yes. He's a really nice guy that will always say yes. So he's already committed to 2 grand for us, or to be able to work with Brandon to get the cost of the travel down to as minimal as possible. Because he's got a great relationship since he sold the pit to Brandon. So he's in for 2 grand. I don't mind having a conversation with him for another 5 because I know he'll say yes. But is there any way we can just find 15 grand so we can move this project forward? Kev's got subs lined up, calendars. We can get this thing rolling here with a 15 grand. Great. So I'm up for anybody's ideas, whatever they think. Any ideas?
You're willing to borrow?
No, we don't want to, it's not my decision, but I don't want to borrow any. We are a totally solvent company and we don't want to, entity, we don't want to borrow.
About borrow internally though. Basically can.
Oh.
It's out of their docket as to what they provide, but in times of need, maybe this is a situation, but and when funds come available next year, you know, there's a repayment or
I
something.
didn't hear, who'd you say it from?
Cans,
Cans?
Yeah.
That's what I said. Well,
volunteer fundraising.
yeah, okay.
Speaking of cans, we are having a can and bottle sort this Wednesday.
That's a perfect time for the ad, Meg. She saw the opportunity, nice.
Great one. The other
Well-
option I have was to ask Tri-County if we could postpone it. You know, pay them 15 grand less next year, so I'm willing to do that. Anyway, I like your idea better, but, you know, that's if you wanna make this happen, and I think I agree with you that we need to do it worldwide, you know, the whole association, get this behind us. This has been going on for like 3 years and, you know, or 2 anyway. And anyway, that's just my opinion.
I was looking through Ed kind of sprung this on me yesterday and I had a lot going on, so I didn't have
Oh, yeah,
much time to,
I was lobbying.
look for any open spots. But it looked like our, snowplow budget I think we budgeted 5,000. We've used almost none of that.
We had a light snow year this
We
year.
had a very light snow year, so it looks like, you know, we might be able to roll the dice and snag, you know, maybe 4 grand out of that. I know there's always some annual maintenance and I want to leave, you know, some money in that budget, you know, to prep for the following year. But, you know, I think there's probably money out there that we can find. I just need to sharpen my pencil. I need more than a day to do it. And just roll the dice on some stuff. If we have, we also have a few bucks coming in from, a subdivision that happened and was not reported from a few years ago. And the person that, bought the properties that did not do the subdivision, he bought them from somebody who did a subdivision and never reported it to us. Has been super cooperative, and we're gonna pick up another $2,700 there. Because we're gonna charge in, you know, arrears, but he's been super, he just wants to, you know, he's been chasing us down. So we got a few more bucks there, and there's always the carryover money from last year that rolls in, so you know, I think we can do it. With a little, you know, everybody tightens their belt and just kind of squeezes their budget. Because I think a statement about roads is really important for the community. I mean, we need to show that, I mean, it's a hot button for everybody. And I think I don't think it's a question of, should we? I think it's how we're gonna make this happen. I mean, it affects everyone, and it makes the landowners, they deserve to have decent roads. I mean, and we deferred.
Yeah, I agree with you. The question I have is, we had 3 snowplow trucks. Can we get rid of 1 or 2? Because for so many years, you know, Kent, when he was here, he got by with just 1. And so get rid of 1,
Right.
you might have 4,000 or 5,000 there. I don't know how much they
Yeah,
charge.
I don't know what there is. There is a limit on the amount of money that the board can, like, we're capped at 10,000, my understanding, we're capped at 10,000. We can sell assets up to $10,000 without a vote of the landowners. I don't know what those plow trucks are worth. I don't know what,
Bob,
Interest-
5, I would assume they're 5, but you know, I don't know.
you know, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
All I know is you go on Oregon Surplus and they have plow trucks, like, you can buy them anywhere cheap. So they're not like it's a super hot commodity, and I wouldn't want to sell all of them. It's good to have some redundancy. I don't know if we need 3, I'd leave that up to Kevin, but I just think, you know, I think, give me a little time, and I think if everybody can cooperate a little bit, we can roll the dice. Our funds are replenishing now, because our you know, our dues are rolling in, and we have future, there'll be some discussion about impact fees, I think. on construction coming up that the board will vote on, and I think, I think we make it out. It's just,
Well, to answer your question now, Meg's got a question down there. I'm gonna give her a moment here, but, on Article 7, powers and duties of the board of directors, C, 7.1 C, dissolution of assets other than common area real property with the unanimous vote by the board and assets with a value of $10,000 or more must have membership approval. If it's under 9,999,
yeah,
we can all vote and we can sell that and apply that wherever we need. Obviously, we don't need three, to Mike's point, we don't need three snow plows.
Really don't.
So if we take the lesser of the three, we put it up for sale, we put it up for closed bids. However, we decide we want to do that, we should do it fair and equitably and all that stuff. We could probably come up with a $9,900 asset.
yeah.
So that helps. That we could, that's an option.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We just haven't had a chance. I know that the snowplow we got from the county, that we paid 5,000 for, is not working. Jake can't even move it. It's got a hydraulic issue. So it's gonna take some money to fix that.
up some more money, he'd just do it. But we've been going to that well a couple of times and
I'm just saying after.
I wanna take advantage of it.
Can that money go back to the?
Be,
Oh,
a
yeah,
way to repay.
yes,
That's a great idea.
yes, as a matter of
Yeah, it
fact,
comes into the general budget. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
Anderson property. The Andersons were supposed to.
All
pay
that money for roads, and it goes, should go back to roads rather than general fund.
That is correct. That was always the plan. So, he has 3 pieces of property. One's a for sure, 2 are probables. And I only say that because it's earmarked that way, but it's not a for sure thing yet. So that's 30 grand right there. So good call on that. So that is something that we can,
Right?
what's that?
He already gave us 10, right?
No, he hasn't given us anything.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
He hasn't sold any of them though, right?
No, but he gave us
He gave us 10,000 up for that one lot, the homestead.
Oh, the homestead lot. Okay, I forgot about that. Yes, that is correct. Okay. I forgot about the homestead. All right, okay.
You have it marketed, right? Is that correct? His property?
Not on the market right now.
Oh, it's
No,
not?
well, it's too hard to get to.
Yeah, that homestead,
Okay,
he
so
got
then-
screwed.
That's what doesn't get corrected.
So just so I'm clear with this, so he's got 3 pieces, so are they individually for sale or is the whole thing for sale?
Both, they were
Oh.
individually for sale, they are not on the market right now,
I didn't.
but they could be sold individually. 2 of them are not,
No.
buildable right now.
Correct, okay. Well, that's where we get the 10,000 is once each one of those sold. Okay.
Randy, I know you had your hand up, please.
Well, I'm just consistent with what Tammy said, and you guys already covered it, basically. Seems appropriate for the fundraising committee that, you're kind of banking on the dues passing, but just what you guys are doing, considering a contingency method to make sure that the fundraising committee gets repaid, just as a backup.
We have that coming and that'll be discussed a little later in the meeting. But there's another way that this can happen, impact fee.
Okay. Yeah, there's the impact fee is, we'll have to vote on that. That's another piece, for the future. But again, it's speculative at this point, but, there's a plan. So based on what we've seen so far, do we have, are we in a spot right now where we can give Kevin the go ahead to make these projects work? Go ahead, Jeff.
My concern with, procedure wise, it ought to be a board vote anyhow for this certain situation for CAMS to provide the funds.
Yeah,
So that it's in the records and the repayment of that funds would be documented anyhow, so that it doesn't get lost.
Right.
And it would be there. So I think a motion could be made, and if accepted, then, yeah, Kevin can go.
We will, we just haven't got that far yet, but we will. That's a good call, Jeff, to always. So, if we're all through the, just, feel pretty comfortable, with this, then let's go ahead and make a motion to accept that. So Kevin, do you want to make a motion or should we have one of our board members make a motion? Okay,
I'll attempt to make the motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that the volunteer fundraising committee allocates up to $15,000 to be applied for roads budget. And that money will be paid back to the volunteer fundraising committee within
next year's budget.
the next year's budget,
So what time of next year's budget, what?
We do the budgets in, the November, I think it's budgets, it's like November, December. I think we hang out, we get the budget before December.
Wouldn't we need, the dues to come in to actually pay it?
The dues do not come in until May
May.
31st, and then they come in June, and then the stragglers in July.
So we wouldn't receive any money until June.
No, wait, don't.
Well, we can still move the funds back in prior to that happening. We're gonna have revenue. It's a budget. We pay over the course of the year. There's carryover, there's things like that. There may be also an opportunity, because we're gonna talk about another funding mechanism. When that comes up, we could say, until that loan is repaid, we can connect these funds to that payment or something or whatever, but
I'm comfortable with that we could work together and figure this out. It's disappointing of a community of our size that we're sitting here talking about something that is so critical to our community, our roads, and we don't have the money to pay for it. And we're talking about $15,000. It's embarrassing. I mean, we will, this one of the top 2 goals of this year is our, reasonable dues increase and figuring out how to take care of our roads and people, I think people will fund it. Otherwise people are going to have shitty roads. So.
Because, I believe we do the, road assessment before the annual dues are due. Did we do that in the past?
Yeah, that would be your discretion, Kev, when you recommend to us for the assessment, and we would follow your lead, but I know yours was it February?
Yeah.
Or January 31st, or
We tried to break it up.
break it up a bit?
Anyway, but to answer, I think it was Steve's question, maybe, that, those funds may come in sooner, that road assessment. And it's on everybody's mind, I know it is, everybody I talk to, I listened to that meeting, most of it, and anyway, so that's all I'll say is, because we're due May 31st, correct, on our dues for the association. So these ones, I think we tried to pull in right after that meeting. If that got approved on March 17th, we were gonna be, what would that be, April 30th or something?
You're talking about having them approved so that the money will come in before the dues are due, is that what you're saying?
Something like that.
No, well, yeah, like I say, yes, that was the original, but the assessment for roads has always been on a different time frame. It's
Correct.
been more closer to the beginning of the year for a couple of different reasons.
So what we did was, we would do it April 30th, and then the following year, we would do it in February again.
Okay.
So we can catch, so we get it, but we
Okay.
can't get it until it's approved.
right.
Okay, so any more discussion on this one?
Yeah.
All right, let's call for a vote.
Do we get a second?
Did we get a?
Oh, did we get a second?
I haven't heard a second.
Oh, do we get a second?
Seconded. Okay. Both of us.
Okay, let's have a vote. Tammy,
Hi.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve. Tom votes aye, unanimous. Thank you
That was
very much.
supposed to be my, popper for, that was the closest thing. So, hey, I tell you what,
Thank you.
thank you to everybody here. We had a plan. We had something we needed to get accomplished. We all worked together, can do. We got it done. So hats off to every one of you, Kevin.
All right, I'm out.
Awesome. I'm just saying, I just get so high in this can-do stuff. This is
So
awesome.
I'll look on you, because everybody knows, always the deadline for me to get a hold of Tri-County to get the work. I want to get it going. I don't want it to go out, but hopefully nothing came from there, so.
Nice.
Can you, send me a copy of the bid? I didn't get, an email with the copy of that.
Oh,
The bid for the road?
yeah, I agree with it, yeah.
Well, the one we're using.
Okay. Oh, the one I discussed yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get that to you either, earlier, Tammy. Sorry about that. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you,
Kevin,
Kevin, yeah.
Kevin, thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much, Kevin.
So you have to talk to Ken tonight when you're late.
I talked to them all.
Yeah. I understand.
Okay, next up, boundaries and land use. Randy.
First of all, I want to congratulate the board for what you guys just did. That's absolutely phenomenal. It takes Takes a lot of teamwork to make something like that happen. Thank you. Outreach and land use, we met, yesterday, meeting was called to order at 10:44 a.m. Present was myself, Ed B. Check, Tammy Carpenter, Gloria, Jeff Berry, Steve Grunyan, Mike and, Maylette McAdams, absent with Rich and Dennis Brandel. Jeff Berry motion, Tammy Carpenter seconded, and then the April 26 meeting minutes as amended were approved. Under housekeeping, I presented the Boundaries and Land Use newsletter article for the Three Rivers newsletter, which is posted on the Three Rivers website, which you all know because you just saw it this morning. So, under boundaries, the committee reviewed the timeline for approval of election of fire rescue and Three Rivers lot line adjustment for lots 308 and 309. Tasks were assigned Joe Parrott, Jeff Berry, Mike McAdams, Bob Longoria, myself will comprise the task force to move the project forward. The project will take a total of 60 to 90 days for completion. Once completed, the process will allow the garbage and recycling committee to move forward to the new service area. Under land use, airport development, Mike McAdams was introduced as a board liaison for airport development. Mike recommended Jordan, which you guys have already heard today, to be the airport manager. The committee discussed and agreed that the owners forum and master development plan will be a priority. And I'm going to work with Mike in regards to the airport and Mr. Spencer and getting that Harmac extension in place.
That's awfully kind of him to step up for that kind of expense for us.
And we even will try, you know, we also discussed yesterday during airport development that we got to do something with the west end of the runway. It's just putting barriers up or something isn't going to help. It's going to require, and hopefully we can come up with somehow it's a baby duck. The baby ducks are a joint effort with volunteers and contributing. So we'll just look at that and see what can happen there. I do have a question though. This is it. This is for you. We have two board liaisons. One for the airport development, the other one for boundaries and land use. Or are you a member of the committee? That's what Mike and I were talking about it.
I don't know that I've ever been on Mike's committee officially. Was I ever on your committee for, yeah.
As far as I know, no.
But you're on boundaries and land use, right?
Yes, you, yeah, just, yeah.
We did vote that in last month, right? In the committee?
No, you voted me in as a advisor to the committee, not as a committee member.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because when we need two, you know, liaison.
No, yeah, I was just there as a liaison. I wasn't officially part of that, so. I'll be involved, but I don't need to be officially. So what you're saying is we got too many board members on the committee. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
up in years past, so.
Yeah, I got you. Just put me down as advisor or whatever you want. That's fine.
We tabled the Rabine access road and property use discussion because of what was discussed here today. So, under governmental affairs, the committee continues to pursue a new representative for SMP, which is shoreline management. And I stated it's a great opportunity to gain knowledge about our unique federally protected waterway and protecting our community. So whoever wants to step up from the committee, we're going to try to get them to take over SMP for me. Jefferson County.
That's where I miss Rich Brandvold, because he was always so good about stepping up for that stuff. Is Rich on the call? Dan Zoom.
Janice is on the call.
Yeah, Janice, kick him in the ribs, see if he'll step up. Anyways, I just had to throw that out there.
Are they there? Are they on Zoom?
Yeah.
Are they watching on Zoom? So I received information from Rich and Janice late yesterday in regards to a property line adjustment issue that is on up off of Randy Lane. And so we will be getting together and looking at this. It's a site change. It's a change of lot line. So once we meet, I'll report back, not only to the board, but obviously it's the committee in regards to, how that affects Three Rivers. Because it may be a difference in the boundary of Three Rivers that has to be corrected. So we'll look at that and see what happens, but we'll do a site visit. We'll meet with the parties and we will discuss it, and then from there we'll report back, not only to the committee, but to the board.
That's a hot one, so thanks, Randy.
And, Oregon DEQ wastewater treatment permit termination, Big Canyon common area. A virtual meeting was held with Ed Beechek, Kyle Thompson, myself, Gary Pop, and DEQ on Thursday, May 15th to discuss the decommission. As a result, we anticipate decommissioning to be completed within the next 60 to 90 days. So we're getting it completed. We should be out of that septic field out there pretty soon, which will open it up, close it down permanently. Our governing documents, the committee will receive and review draft documents to discuss further changes to the CCNRs, bylaws and such. Once completed, this will be submitted to the board of directors for review and consideration. And this is a full committee participation in this, is working on governing documents and getting a draft together so that it helps the association move forward with land use within Three Rivers. The next meeting, I believe, is June 22nd at 10:30 a.m. at the event center. Motion to adjourn at 56 by Tammy Carpenter, seconded by Jeff Perry. Any questions? Two questions or please?
Here,
I can't hear
Can
you.
we get minutes from these meetings?
this dawned on me.
Yeah, we have, yeah, they were in the consent.
Oh, you mean what those signs, the ones that are saying aircraft coming?
Generalize
that,
the main,
The one that you can't read
the
anymore.
main things were just the voting and reading the topic.
Kind of put in my head that, security asked, what is our rule for the airstrip? And I sent them the rule, but we don't have any signage really to explain that rule. So do we need one? I mean,
Well, I can answer this because with the new airport manager that he just, he's got a plan to get everything.
well, and the reason I'm looking at you is because, is there any way possible we can get that done before this weekend?
This one,
You know, a sign guy, so I.
oh, well, it depends on the sign we can use. We talking about,
Yeah.
you know, air traffic only.
You know, keeping the people off of there.
Yeah.
You know, airfield only, aircraft only, access.
I don't think I can get it by this week.
You can go down there.
But I think that, yeah, I mean, if you're watching, people are gonna be out there. Let's hope they're around watching that, racing on the airport. It's
But
a,
unfortunately,
Memorial
people park in
weekend.
front of those signs, and even though the signs aren't included anymore, if you're parking in front of them, nobody can see them, and you got a couple of Suburbans and a pickup truck blocking.
That's why the sign needs to
So
be moved.
we'll have to move it or move the vehicles, okay. I apologize, I didn't,
No.
put two and two together.
Either plan
Soon
one,
enough.
plan
While
one.
we talk about that sign, okay. The second thing was, anything to send me for the garbage thing?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We go. That it? Any other questions?
Not ready.
Okay, so next, rules, rules and regs, well, excuse me, volunteer fundraising, let me just make sure I go through there. Volunteer fundraising committee.
Okay, so you said can do, how many times today, and already repeated your can and bottle short, so thank you for that introduction.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, this Wednesday, it's usually about $2,500 every time that we load that trailer up and take it in, so. And then we get all those icky bags of cans and bottles away from the building, so.
Looks like
This
I'm here
Wednesday,
for
we'll
once.
get that done. I want to say a special thank you to Maylette McAdams and to Mike. We got acoustics for the event center, and I was down there this morning, and it is amazing. This has more echo in here than that room, big room does now. Mike sold the Three Rivers, LOA, all that product at his cost. And then he and Maylette, I should say first, Maylette, installed them, and she did a fabulous job. She's so artistic, and it's gonna be a big, big plus. So as a board, if you wanna have your meeting down there next month, it's gonna be ready.
Awesome.
Also, another big thing that's going on, and it's been going on for almost 2 years now, when we lost Kent in the bingo kitchen. The callers who had been volunteering and their aunt, Charlotte, they have moved legally to Texas, but they're here very, very seldom. So it left Rob and I. That was it for the bingo kitchen. And I've asked and spread the word, got no volunteers. I had a few people say, well, I could do one. Well, there's too much training that has to happen. It's gotta be a commitment. So Kyle and I talked about it, and several other people talked about it. Instead of giving up the bingo kitchen, we went to Lance and Silas and talked to them about, at least for next Saturday, this coming up Saturday, getting 2 volunteers from the wrestling team out of Culver. And we will give them some money that goes into a fund for the wrestlers. It won't go to the kids themselves, but I've got two boys gonna come help us. And then Kathy Clay is going to move into the kitchen to help for Memorial Day. Lance will then, we'll talk to him, but he will then make a decision whether he wants to take that over as part of his marina duties or not. So that remains to be seen. It's a pretty darn good fundraiser for the community. Plus, it has become such a huge event. We have people, hundreds and hundreds of people down there. Memorial Day is the biggest, and they play bingo, and we don't have any issues. We don't have any bad words being said. There hasn't been trouble down there in years and years and years. So we'd hate to have that go away. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. One more thing about bingo this Saturday. The gun club has for several years had a table down there and selling raffle tickets for the gun club, the 3 big raffles that we do. Sue, can I say about Sue? Sure. Sue's having back surgery on Friday, and so neither she nor John are available for this weekend. So we need 2 people to help out. That raises $500 to $700 on that one night for the gun club. So I'm gonna put something out on Facebook. I'll put something on the reader board out, or not the reader board, but the written board, and see if we can get a couple people to volunteer for Saturday night to help out the gun club. I think that's all. Yep.
Because I haven't made it down to the last couple of hand sorts and about rodents and stuff like that. Do we get a lot of rodents coming out of that pile or whatever? And I seem to be the guy, well, I seem to be the guy taking care of, I seem to be the guy taking care of anti-rodent people.
Steve Dome's got it under control pretty darn good.
Does he? Okay, because I know I go down there and I let in, what is it, Terminex, yeah.
We got
Because I take care of Terminex guys. And I was just wondering, you know, are they running all over the place?
Nope, it's a way.
They're eating all the poison and stuff like that, so it should be.
They're doing a good job.
Okay, I just wanted to check to see if something else needs to be done.
I had a question on the food part. How much does that usually net raise, just the food?
So I got involved last year, right in the middle of all this. When I looked at the numbers, we kind of combined the revenue that comes from selling bingo cards and daubers, and then the burger sales. From what I could tell, it looked like about $1,500 we raised selling burgers and hot dogs. But I don't have the best accounting to lay all that out. But I believe it's about $1,500 on on the food side. We make more money on the bingo side. And really, I think if we took the food away, I think a lot of people come down there, get a burger, play bingo. We want to drive people to play bingo. And it's hard to get volunteers to run that thing. Partnering with Lance made a lot of sense. But we want people to serve food right there. We don't want people to have to go back. But in general, last year, between bingo and food, it was about $14,000 total that we did between bingo and food. And then the rest of that money comes from the can sort. So it's not insignificant. And
That's for 3
all 3 weekends, yeah. And it really depends on the weather. It's very much a driver. If it's too hot or if it's too cold, will affect how many people go down there. Last year, 4th of July, it was over 100 degrees and we had a pretty low turnout, right? 4th of July. Memorial Day is big. Yeah, and I'm gonna be down there. This will be the first year we'll sell hamburgers and use a credit card transaction because we have internet down there now. So we'll be able to sell. We're also increasing the cost of a hamburger. We used to sell them for $5. We're gonna sell them for 10. And you can't go to McDonald's and buy a burger for less than $10.
Well, and that'll come with the chips, and actually the burger alone is gonna be $8. If you want cheese, it's another $1. If you want chili, it's another $1. So there'll be some more revenue, but we're not having bakers, and we're not having nachos. I have no more time or energy to add. So those are going bye-bye right now. But Lance has talked to us, if he takes it over, they wanna add burritos.
Well, he asked, can I control the menu? And, if he wants to take it over, we'll partner with him. We talked about a revenue share model. We talked about a number of different things. At the end of the day, people come here Memorial Day weekend and they want to have fun with their families. And we don't have enough volunteers to sit there and want to cook burgers.
Right.
And so let's partner with people that his job is service. Our job is to spend time with our families and have fun. And
Make great.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys working together with him and Pat and working that out. So that's awesome. Is there anything else on fundraising?
No.
Okay. Architectural? Oh,
Communications, Michelle had to leave. She wanted me to ask, everybody, but, this is appropriate. And
hey, you're 5 down on the list and we'll get to communications.
oh, okay.
So hang on a second. Architectural. I just love doing that to you, Steve. Architectural.
I already did mine.
Fee schedule?
Oh, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's get that because that's an important one there.
There, we put for new build applications only. We did a cost schedule up. And so we're proposing to charge shop, no living quarters, $500. A house that's 2,500 square feet or less, 750, and then a house over 2,500 square feet or a barn dominium. I always say that wrong, barn dominium, $1,000. And so, all the funds that'll be raised will go towards the road repairs due to the large trucks coming in, damaging the roads for building the new, houses or shops or whatever it is.
When would that take effect?
Well, that would be, I guess, depending on if we voted in and then we get,
You have to make a motion for it then.
yeah.
Tim, you want to make a motion on that one?
Okay, I motion to implement the new build application cost schedule.
I second it.
Any further discussion on that one?
Who would be just administratively send an invoice out? Who sends the invoice out? Is that something we were putting on the office staff? Is it something we could do with Fieldstone?
I think Fieldstone could do that for us.
As
Yeah,
part of our existing scope of work for them yeah.
They collect dues and fines and whatever, and that would actually get it into our, pay it, and if they didn't pay.
I think that seems reasonable.
Collection and.
Let me just write that down so it feels on. So, if I could just interject on that.
That, you know, because when they, that would fill out the application and, it usually goes to the office or Teresa, and then it gets forwarded to me, so. But when they fill out the application, they could pay it at that time, write a check or mail on a check. Or, if they want to give us credit card information, and we could do that, at the time that they put in the application. My only kind of concern with that though, and I don't see us really denying anything, is if we denied it, then we would have to probably refund the money to them.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever denied anything. It's
Yeah.
just, but I understand your point. Let me throw this out and you guys can chew on it for a moment, but my thoughts on this were Fieldstone is garbage in, garbage out. So we informed them of our process and they follow that process. So I would say that to implement this, one, the website, it's got to be up on the website so people can see that, especially in the architecture, or if we scroll down to what's happening, what's new, that section, so that people can see that and at least have a reference to it. Under the architectural document section, that policy could be there. I know, but we're in the discussion phase of it. The office could receive those funds and then forward them to Fieldstone for the collection of that, or for the posting, I should say, to our and so forth. But we'll have to update the architectural packet for that. If it's on there, then when people come in and get their packet, they'll see that and then they'll know that there's a fee schedule, so it won't be an expected expense. But that's the process, I think, for the implementation with this, if we, as a board, vote this in.
Yeah.
Will that work?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
Steve?
So did you and Kevin talk about the pass for contractors to be involved in this?
That was not, just, the only thing that I emailed Kevin was, suggestions on the price range of each 3 of these. So I know we did discuss last month at the meeting about it including the gate pass and everything like that too for the contract.
With that information, it would be easier to do it at the office, pay the fee at the office, because they're the only ones gonna be able to get that pass out. If it's included in the thing, so. Forward to Fieldstone. I mean, sounds like it's better to just get the money and the permit and everything all done in one whack and then forward it to Fieldstone.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That makes sense.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so we got a motion. Any other questions on that? Any more discussion?
Take a vote.
Call for a vote.
Tammy,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Tom votes aye, unanimous.
Nice. Okay, rules, anything else on architectural? Tammy, sorry.
That is it.
Okay, sorry about that. Rules and regulations, Mike.
Well, I hear someone say something back here. No. I just, I'm really excited about having, a new committee people on there, and we've already had this discussion about, we want to change a little bit on the rules. And then, we're gonna have more of that next time on the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, you got a good crew, so.
Can I just ask a question, because
Yeah.
this, 2 issues that keep popping up and they eat it in my craw is people, racing on the airport runway.
Yeah.
This is a safety issue.
Yes.
It's not designed for that. And people blowing donuts down at the rec hall. And
It drives me crazy.
drives me insane.
It does me too.
And so my request for you or your board, your committee would be to reevaluate, some things are more egregious than others.
Yes,
And when you damage Three Rivers property intentionally, I think that fine should be substantial.
I agree with you, Tom. So we'll work on that. I think so too. It,
And when you present a safety matter, like, you know, because the airport, I know it doesn't get used that much, but it doesn't matter. If you're a pilot coming in and somebody's racing quads down that thing, you got a problem. You know,
Yeah.
and we need to make it hurt.
yeah, I totally agree with you, because that's why I got involved, because someone dying on that airport thing is a bad news. If there's no signage or something down there for safety reason,
Right.
someone can say, well, I didn't know that was an airport road, but that's being, but we have a responsibility to make sure that someone doesn't get on there, but no one reads a lot of signs either, so.
It's not just a safety issue, it's legal. and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it
federal
is.
law.
It's serious. It's a serious matter.
It should be a freaking,
Yeah.
I don't think there should be a warning about it.
No, no
Go
warnings.
Directly to a fine.
Yeah, you can go directly $500, and then after that, bring it to the board if it's something really, really severe. Okay. Very cool.
And you have the
Any,
option to bring
hang on.
that fine, depending on how, don't you? I mean, he could.
I'll be up to the board.
Bring it to the board and say, this was so egregious.
That's correct. He can do that. Yep. Anything else, Mike, on the rules and regs?
No, that's it.
Okay, very cool. Thanks.
The other thing that I don't like besides that is the spinning out in the ground. I think that's.
Tom was just saying.
I just said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. No, we got it. Yeah, it makes sense. So, 3-hour watch.
Here, watch, I pretty much, said that earlier.
Okay.
You want to repeat?
No, I don't. So, is anything else to add to that otherwise?
No.
Okay, cool. Is there a question?
No, if you're at the end of the committees, I got one text to me, fire-wise.
Oh, yeah, ask away, because we'll retro that. We'll see if it's a quick question.
Yeah,
So
you just let me know.
we'll
when you
address
want me to
it,
give
address it now.
Right now, okay.
Yep.
Firewise update, this is from Shannon. Through grant money received from Lake Smith Fire and Rescue, remediation work has been completed. Roadsides on D Lane and Hunter's Loop, all debris removed. Work also done for private property owners on Dynamite Lane to reduce the fuel load coming up canyons, still in progress. Debris piles will be burned in place. Upper Canyon Rim Drive Road, where the gravel starts, is currently in process. All debris will be removed and taken to pit by contractor. Little Canyon, all juniper trees are to be cut and made available to the homeowners. All other debris piles will be burned in place in Little Canyon and have a flash burn for all underbrush. There was a misunderstanding of removal of a downed juniper. The project's still in progress. I am working with Lake Smith Fire and Rescue to ensure project completion may not be prior to summer. This project is complete. She will, that's it. That's pretty much it. That's her report.
Okay, great. I'm glad you snuck that in. That's nice. Awesome. Airport, Mike, you already spoke on that, or you?
Pretty much, the only thing I had
Sure.
maybe add is, and this might be a question to Randy, but I don't know, is there any HOA guidelines to follow for the airport? Jordan's already gonna work on a master plan for the airport, and I didn't know if there's any certain guidelines that this HOA has for out here for the airport to kind of keep in line with all that. If there's not,
I wish I had an answer for you.
It'd be in the bylaws, but if not, I would love to see something. I mean, it just.
it would just help me out. If there is,
Yeah,
that would help me out. If there isn't, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the master plan and present that to you guys later, what I
Yeah.
foresee in the airport later, years from now.
Yeah, that's.
Registered OG00, it's
Yes.
registered.
Yeah, hang on a second. So yeah, I know Joe's been involved with that in the past, just because he's on there, and he's a pilot and family pilot, so.
I know, Joe.
But that's what we don't work around up there.
I just
We
wanted,
really- yeah.
for me to help me, I wanted to know if there was or not, so.
Man, I wish I had a source for you, but we're starting at the ground level with that, really. We've had some folks in there,
Okay.
but it's just now we're going, yeah.
Well, Jordan's gonna really help with this, so anyway, well, that's just a question I had.
Yeah.
Like the guidelines should be part of the master plan.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so yeah, we're just, sorry, Meg, but we're trying to keep rolling on, okay. All right, so, airport. Anything else? Mike?
That's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. Office, you said.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're all look alike.
Sorry, Randy.
Office communication.
They just wanted me to bring up that, there's a flyer gonna be passed out at the gate by the gate volunteers.
Okay,
Anybody that wanted to put something in that flyer, it's all about the happenings, flyer is not about anything going on here. So if you wanted to put in there about the food and the bingo and the times, that kind of thing for your department, if there's another
Gun club.
a gun club, or something, emails, communication, office, and they'll, because they're building that flyer now. Okay.
okay,
For handouts.
cool. I know, you just covered communication too, but I just have one. So since we just passed for communication, just passed the fee schedule, for architectural. Tammy, you want to work with Michelle on that, just so that that gets posted to the website and all that kind of stuff?
Is that effective immediately?
Yeah, that's, we hadn't
Yeah.
discussed that, so.
Yeah, cause you got what, 6 architect packets so far this year?
Well, no, I think it's 3 or 4, but we can't go back and ask.
No, we can't, but so the urge is, we don't want to miss anything moving
All
forward.
right, well, when we post it, we should just say, hey, this is the new fee schedule. Any packets as of June 1 or whatever the date is, these fees will be in a,
Yeah, and if you don't mind working with her on that, that'd be great. That way, cause she had to step on. I just didn't want to do anything around her. Okay.
You created the form, the application form. You know that?
No, it needs
AC form,
love, yeah.
I just made myself a note, I'm gonna send you the complete file. for AC.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
And it'd be nice if you could get, on the news feed, just as a heads up. Because that's something people read. I just found that architectural was kind of buried and people don't always know or see or want to find out about it. And if there's a way to get.
Is the form on
It
the
is,
website?
it is, but it's buried.
It's very.
Yeah, you might want to go in there and look at it clean and get that clean, because there's stuff in there that just.
Okay, that's it for committee reports. Old business, we've invited, Randy Geisler here. I will tell you that Tom and I, when we saw the 2 documents that Randy presented to the board last time, we read through those and we met with Randy to try to get as much information that we could. So, between one meeting and another, instead of waiting until, we just tried to spend some time with Randy, answer some questions, see where he's coming from, and hopefully try to, streamline that as much as possible and figure out how we want to approach the board with. So we're giving him time now to go ahead and talk about the documents that he gave to us and discuss a little bit about that. So Randy, if I could just have you, come on up, sit wherever you feel comfortable so that people listening in.
I'll steal Michelle's chair since she's missing.
I will just tell you that we do have a conference call coming up here shortly, and I'm not trying to push you. I just want to.
Well, so first of all, I appreciate you guys meeting with me. And kind of one of the points was to not burn down the clock here. And my best to do that. So the reports I gave you at the last meeting, what generated those reports honestly was well over a month's worth of hours, work hours. I tried to review, I believe I did review at least a decade's worth of minutes, both annual and meeting minutes. And what generated the concern in the first place is I had this impression that the whole association, not trying to make it anybody's fault, has kind of been led down a trail to believe that we absolutely have to change our bylaws and our CCRs. And looking into it, basically behind that is the Oregon Planned Communities Act. And looking at it initially, I'm like, well, wait a second. This isn't this is being looked at maybe by the association as that the OCPA, the Oregon Plan Communities Act, is like a mandate on Three Rivers. And there are places where maybe it is, but within the legislation itself, there's exceptions. And that doesn't mean that we don't want to do what the Oregon Plan Communities Act says, but it does mean we should not present it as it has to be done if it's a discretionary matter. So in the case of a reserve account funding and reserve studies, for instance, it's pretty clear that an older association doesn't have to do that. But it was kind of proposed that it was proposed that this was required. And at our 2024 meeting, association attorney actually agreed it was not. So this is right from the beginning. It shows us that the Oregon Plans Communities Act is not mandatory in a general sense upon Three Rivers. That doesn't mean we can't consider it. But it seems to me like we've had outside pressure on the board and on the association generally to treat the Oregon Plans Communities Act as a blanket mandatory thing when it's not. And you've mentioned it and others have mentioned that the board and its members have always had the best interest of Three Rivers at heart. I would like to make it clear, my reports, no matter how they may look, were never intended to question the integrity of any board member of the board or its committees. It's just that I saw such a serious problem with how, what is the basis of what we're moving on and what are the outside influences that are going on here. So we've spent a lot of money to keep the public out of Three Rivers. We had the Sparks Road thing. We spent, what, $1 million? We've made the Rabine edition, the Anderson thing, everything that we've, clear that in Three Rivers, we have tried to keep public access out. Well, the Oregon Plan Communities Act is a form of public access to the internal operation of Three Rivers. And I view it as a save our community issue in a way. Especially if we're not required to do something by the Oregon Plan Communities Act, then we should be looking at it as like, well, this is in our discretion to do. We should do what we think is best, but we should not say, okay, we're going to let you put the road into the marina, like the Sparks Road thing. So I think we need to question more what we're doing. Meanwhile, what we've done with the CCRs and the bylaws, that direction we've been headed appears for about 10 years or more. We're proposing, like with the bylaws, this is like gut the thing and put in a whole new thing. And the CCRs that were proposed last year were kind of the same thing, a whole new thing. Well, because a lot of the, for one, if you ask the state of Oregon in the United States to say, repeal all your statutes, repeal your constitution and adopt everything new, well, that would kind of make you take pause. And our CCRs, a lot of people may not understand that our CCRs in the sense are a constitution for Three Rivers. I mean, it's what sets up the board, its powers, etc. And the bylaws work in that sense too. And also are easier to change because they only virtually, I've offered amendments at a meeting and it was suggested, well, there's not enough people here, it's not fair. We had a quorum and people have left. Well, the whole way the bylaws work, you might think are a little unfair because the truth is 10% plus one of our membership can revise our bylaws. They're actually that easy because it takes a 20% quorum and a majority vote of the members. That also may seem a little unfair. So if anybody thought that I was trying to do something unfair, I was not. I was trying to follow the Robert's Rules of Order and our time frame. And by the way, Ed, I appreciate that you moved the comment thing ahead in the meeting. Because, I mean, it's having the comment thing at the end, if you can see in the agenda that something coming at the meeting, commenting at the end of the meeting is kind of late in the game, although it can be dealt with later.
Sure.
But so I feel that, you know, so that you know what you've got. So I produced those two reports. And I also researched the Oregon Planned Communities Act for any place that showed that it was discretionary for Three Rivers as a older landowners association. And part of the reason, I want to discuss part of the reason why the legislation is that way. I used the comment, and maybe shouldn't have, deceptive practices. Well, the first deceiver in this whole matter is the state legislature. State legislature can't enact a step under Article 1, Section 21 of the Oregon Constitution. The state legislature can't enact and is not allowed to enact an ex post facto law or a law impairing the obligation of contracts. The legislatures, when they run into a limitation like this, if they want to give the appearance that this is mandatory on everyone, whether they can do so or not, have a tendency to put the legislation out there as a mandate, but they write escape hatches into the legislation so that if someone wants them, they can save the legislation from being declared unconstitutional by making it voluntary for those people or institutions that they can't make it mandatory upon just because they just can't. That's how if you look at the Oregon Plans Community Act, that's how it's written. Our relationship as an association between the property owners and the association, we all seem like we're the same thing, but we all have different hats, so to speak. When someone comes into the association, it's because they bought property here. There's a contractual relation that's created between the property owners and the association just by the nature of the thing. And anyone who's bought property in here and any realtor knows that they have to disclose what's going on in Three Rivers as a part of disclosure as limits on property use. So it's clear that having an LOA or an HOA trenches on the property rights of a property owner, and that has to be known what that is. To compare it, it's like me buying a piece of property with an easement. Somebody has to tell me that easement is there, but I have to decide, do I want that piece of property with that easement or do I not? And because there's a contractual relationship, that's where the Oregon legislature has a problem because if they start manipulating what we're doing internally as an association, they're starting to interfere with the obligation contracts.
Yeah, so just to you know, keep us on track here. When I looked at the information you provided me, I sat down with Joe Parrott. He was real kind as to bring you up to speed on our governing docs and so on and so forth. And I shared some of the information that you provided with him. And there's a couple of areas in there that you are correct that we need to address. The best thing that we can do moving forward on this is working through our governing docs committee to take a look. The bylaws, you know, they define the what and the who in and those are not defined to be moved a lot. Once you adopt your bylaws, they move a little, and they should be reviewed annually. They should be moved on a frequent basis. And if there is an amendment or maybe two, that's appropriate. But when you start looking at 7, 8, 9 amendments, you have to go through the process of an entire revision. And we're not there yet. So in our bylaws, we do look at them on occasion through the governing docs team. And if there is an issue there that we have to address, we can so do so, and we can make a change based on an amendment through the membership. CCRs are almost like part of our special operations. When it comes to what is more important, the bylaws will always take precedence over the CCRs. But when we looked at the CCRs, what Joe was enlightening me, he agreed that you had a couple of areas in there that needed to be adjusted. And we haven't reviewed those in quite some time, and they need a good, strong look at. So what I recommend to you is when we get to the point where we start looking at the CCR through the governing docs team, that's where we need to put our heads together and come up with a solution on updating those and getting them set up. We did identify through your information we went through, we do not qualify for, we were incorporated prior to that act. With
In
the
fact, not
Oregon
under
Plan
the
Committee.
Oregon Plan Community.
Yeah, that's all.
Not all.
That's all. So I know it's a good business practice, but we're not required to do it. But in either case, that's where we're at. So I think that's the best solution moving forward that we can get. One, thank you for doing the information, because there's some valid stuff in here that we need to address. My point is, let's turn that over to the governing docs, let them take a look at it. And then if they need to reach out to you for any kind of additional support, that's the way we need to roll with it, and then adjust them accordingly.
So
That's
consistent
how
with
I'm saying it.
what you said, but that's one of my concerns as well. We adopted bylaws, that was like a major revision, okay? And part of, and I feel that, what we've been doing with the CCRs and the bylaws has kind of been infected with this premise that the law requires us to do it. I mean, whether it was stated we're conforming to the law, or an actual statement that the law requires it, or statements like from Fieldstone in 2016, publishing to us reserve account requirements and reserve studies being presented. Well, no one's saying necessarily absolutely you have to do this, but kind of giving that implication. One of the big concerns I have is that here's how the legislature has more than one way of avoiding their constitutional problems, as we discuss this in the future. One way that the legislature can avoid a constitutional problem where they cannot mandate is simply to convince someone to volunteer. For instance, reserve accounts, reserve studies. We're not required to do them, and I would actually like a finding to be made. The attorney's already agreed with that. There's enough evidence of record for a finding to be entered that that's just not a question whether or not we're required to do it. Whether we want to do it, that's a whole other story. But we need record of what we decided. And I think that on that, just that one subject, we can at least make that finding. But the point is, any place in the Planned Communities Act, if we choose to volunteer to do something that is not required of us, at that point, the Planned Communities Act is then a mandate. So if we create a reserve account and a reserve, through a reserve study and so forth, once we have entered into compliance with the Oregon Planned Communities Act, when it says you will do A, B, C, D, E to accomplish that, like for instance, the board will have to determine a minimum fund amount, and that's going to have to be done. But if we never do it, then it becomes irrelevant. And a great deal of what's in the Oregon Planned Communities Act is like that.
So this is good discussion, but I'm gonna bookend it for you real quick here.
Okay.
So the revision, the proposed CCNR changes, it was a draft, it was never ratified, it was proposed, but it was never voted.
And it never went anywhere.
It never went anywhere. I looked at the language of that, specifically what you referenced for, and there's 3 sections in there that have to be adjusted, and they need to be changed appropriately. So yes, You know, one says the organization shall, and the other one, the organization shall, and the organization shall. Well, we're not shall anything. So they need to be addressed, they need to be updated, and then they need to be presented to the board and where necessary, presented to the membership. So that's where we're at. So you found an area that we needed to spend a little more time in. We did our investigation to verify it. Now the next step is through governing docs to go ahead and take a look at that information, update it, go through the board and our processes and to the membership.
So to avoid redundancy, I sent an email to all the board members, whole bunch of attachments. The 2 reports I did were attached. My interaction with the previous documents committee are in documents attached. I actually, because there was so much stuff going on in the proposed CCRs, I went through the time really quickly because I was asked to do it quickly for the town hall that we had to go through and specifically express my concerns. Well, there were so many things I was concerned about. What I did was I just created a red line edition of what was offered. And then it has, I did it in a PDF format where you can redline something and then a comment is produced. Well, that's what the board has in hand right now. And I would like that to go down the road as opposed to redundantly. I mean, I don't even think we have a documents committee right now. Am I wrong? Do we have a documents committee? I looked at the roster, there's none there on the.
I don't know about document committee, but we have a governing docs committee that's part of boundaries and land use, SMP and all.
So it's blended, Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got, so that's one thing, clarity of who do you talk to on our website would be helpful.
Yeah, I don't know about on the website, but I do know that Randy's chairman of boundaries and land use, which will have governing docs, but I saw the information that you forwarded to me. We'll forward those to Randy and we'll throw it all into the blender and we'll need to address it. And then formally we'll go in and we'll take a look at the bylaws where appropriate. But the CCRs need the most attention as it stands right now. And once the process is put in place, then once the issues are identified, then we'll go through our process and we'll approach them to the membership as appropriate. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
So
and one final thing, Mike, I would like to note that there's a lot of different reasons why we amend the CCRs. One is simply housekeeping. We have already, in effect, amended the CCRs in order to settle our lawsuit over Sparks Road, to have the Ravine addition, to the Anderson addition. All that was kind of in a fell swoop. And we had to have 75% because we're changing our boundaries. I would have someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. That's why we had 75%. So we had a vote already on a subject that amends the CCRs. But if you go look up the CCRs at the county, which we have to record them to make them binding. If you go look at the CCRs, well, that's not there. So you have to go look up the other vote. You have to do a record search at the county to find out all those things that are in one pot that should be maybe in one pile. So that's one reason why you might amend the CCRs, but where it's already been done, you might ask council this, can that be done in an administrative fashion without having to go through another 75% vote to vote on something we already voted on?
well, that could be, actually, that's probably good advice. So here's how we're gonna do this thing. Randy is going to put together his plan. We're gonna take a look at this stuff because we need to address it. And then we'll formulating a plan moving forward. Because
So I got a question for Randy, since it sounds like you're gonna be really involved in this. I've sent letters, comments, etc. to the previous document committee. There's really I can't find any record of this. So I don't think Randy, anyone being on the documents committee can go to our records and find what I've just given the board either at the last meeting or by email. So it's kind of a do-over for me. So if I present something to the documents committee, whether it be Randy Panic or whoever we're dealing with there, I would just ask that it be presented as if my letter was to Karen McBride or Bill Hawkins or to the last documents committee, to avoid repeating it, I would forward that stuff and the board will forward it, let's say. Just treat it as if I wrote you the letter, if you would, please.
Okay, yeah, so whatever,
To avoid, you know.
yeah, whatever
Take
you,
off where we left off.
so whatever you sent me, I'll forward to Randy, and, yeah, I have all the confidence that we now have a real good team to put with a product moving forward. I can't vouch for what happened in the past, but
So-
moving forward, I feel pretty comfortable.
And from
We'll
a
get a handle
personal
on it.
standpoint on discretionary stuff,
Okay.
amending is also discretionary. That's another thing that's mixed together. We have many things mixed together as to stating to the membership the reasons why. And we need to do that because if we don't, we're dealing with we are actually revising contractual relationships between the owners and the association when we play with the CCRs. And you can read our own attorney in his own law review will tell you that when we start trenching on property owners, use of property, it generally needs to be in CCRs, but that's one of the things that is going on. So as property owners, as a property owner, I could say, oh, well, let's amend the CCRs so that I got better property rights as a property owner, which then will deprive the association of some power, or it can go the other way around. But I think it needs to be made clear to the membership if they're going to revise the CCRs, that they're revising their contractual relationship as a property owner with the association. And they all seem like they're the same thing because we're owners, we're members, and we're an association. But it does revise those kind of things.
Well, let's go through our chain of command, document committee, board, membership. So,
Well, I appreciate you giving me this much time on the clock. Hope I didn't burn it down. And
no, all right,
thank you for your time.
we're right on time for our next spot. So again, Randy, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the time, bro. Okay, good.
Hope it's helpful when it's troublesome.
That's all right. Okay, so moving right along here. Okay, I just need to know from the board, are we making a decision on the location of the annual meeting? We talked about it last time, we tabled it to this time, so do we want to continue with what we've done in the past? Or do we want to try to move the location to over on this side of the mountain? I need to be able to let the folks know to be able to contract with the location for the annual meeting.
Yeah, I thought we decided that.
So we were gonna do it.
Yep.
We are gonna move it?
Yeah, move it.
Okay, did we vote on that? I didn't see it in the minutes, is what I'm asking.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, I could be mistaken.
We were gonna ask Meg to give us some input on where.
Yeah, but did we vote on it, that we're gonna actually make a move?
The reason why
I think we-
I brought it up,
Exploring.
sorry, the reason I brought it up is because there was a conversation about, that folks on the other side of the mountain may not want to come over to this side because it's the March timeframe. We couldn't change the month of March until the annual meeting because it's in our bylaw. So we're stuck with March, but there was a concern with that. That's why I couldn't remember, and I didn't see it in the minutes that it was voted on and we accepted that. So I don't care either way. I just want to get it into the minutes, get it in officially so we can move forward with it.
We vote.
We need a motion?
The annual meeting.
No, that wasn't a vote, that was we asked for guidance.
And it voted to move it.
Okay,
Voted to
that's
move.
okay. If my fault on that, and please be forgiving. It was never any kind of intent. If we've already voted on it, if we're already good, it's gonna be on this side, then I can go, hey, Meg, can you go reach out?
Yep, already did.
Okay, so we're there. Okay,
Jefferson County Fair Complex.
done. Okay, I'm gonna move on then. Done. Kyle, I would have one kind of, not a request, but a discussion point on that. You mentioned to me that you were thinking about one of the things that we run really close on is, a quorum, and a lot of it is on the Zoom.
Right.
You mentioned that you might want to take that on as a project, get our HOA online, or not HOA, but our being able to vote through the LOA, HOA online for this kind of stuff.
Right, I think the reality is at the annual meetings in the last few years, I don't necessarily think it reflects a good reflection of our community. People don't want to go to them. They're kind of a pain in the ass meeting. But people are used to being able to go online, and even the attorney said you could vote online. That that a lot of people are moving that direction, having meetings in person. We'll continue to do that, but people want the flexibility to attend the meeting online and vote online. And there are a number of software programs. We have one of them. I don't have a lot of knowledge about the capabilities of HOA Start, but I believe that they do have a component. We may need to pay for that, maybe, I don't know. But giving people the ability to vote online. I think if we move, if we decided to move the meeting to the east side of the mountain, I think along with that, we need to have the ability for people to participate electronically and vote electronically. And I'm willing to take that on and work with, we have a bunch of talented people in our community. I think we could put that together and have that functionality by March of 2026.
HOA Start does have a vote.
Yeah, I know they do. I don't know much about it. I don't know if we have to pay more for it or whatever, and people need to be able to understand how to use it. And the last thing we want to do is move the meeting, not have a quorum, and not get anything done.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for stepping on the plate. And however I can help on that.
Yeah.
I hate to put you on the spot on that.
No, this is.
It's so critical to what we're trying to accomplish for this year.
So it sounds like we need to actually make a vote, because I thought we were already in line that we are moving it. Kyle just mentioned if we move it. So let's.
We do a second vote, ain't gonna hurt nothing. So, okay, all right, we're all learning. All right, so who wants to make a motion to move this to this side of the mountain?
I'll make a motion that we move it to this side of the mountain based on the fact that the majority survey that we took wanted it moved.
Okay,
Second.
roll call.
Yeah.
Any
I'm
discussion? Any discussion? Roll call. Right there.
Tom.
Okay,
Tammy?
discussion.
Discussion.
I understand both sides of the issue. 125 people don't have a place over there, and 500 and something don't have their camps ready.
Mhm.
With running water in March. So that's all I want to say. I think I think we should, if we do this, I think we should do it on a 1-year test basis, because I have concerns that we turn out, I don't see it happening. I think you're gonna have I think it's just gonna actually just all shift to online. Which is, I guess, okay. I mean, it's just a new thing, but we need to have, if we're gonna have on this side of the mountain with HOA Start, we've got to figure out a way to make sure that the people that are voting are actually the people that can vote. And, there's a lot of logistics to figure out. But I said my piece.
So my discussion last time we did this was, I think it's good to have it local because we're keeping our money local to the local businesses and stuff like that. And a lot of people who drive in the snow, most of those people already know how to drive in the snow because they go snow skiing and all that stuff. So I don't know,
I don't know. I think most of the people live.
and I kind of agree with you too, but I just think it's.
No, I think we do it 1 year and, whatever. Well, we can always change it next year, but if it doesn't work. But anyway, so any further discussion?
That's a good thing, test run, see how many people show up.
Mhm.
And so, I'm one that I don't drive in the snow, so I might be one of those online people.
Mhm.
Which kind of sucks being a board member, but I don't feel safe,
Mhm.
driving in the snow. So
Well, yeah,
But I am also, willing to listen to everybody that, voted that they wanted it moved.
right.
So,
Well, I think the online component is important. I think the, meeting in May or June or something. But we can't do that as part of our rules right now, but, yeah, I mean, we could make the, I'm confident we could get the online piece done. There's enough technology partners out there. It's where a lot of, HOAs and LOAs are moving towards online voting. I think it's just the way it's gonna happen. And, we just need to be prepared for it. And I'm willing to take on that component.
Any further discussion?
My only, thing, and I know I brought this up and, it was said that we didn't have time, but I don't. Is there a reason why we couldn't put a vote out there, to change it to May? Yeah, because we need, what, 75%, right, of the voters voting. Is there any reason why we couldn't,
Have a special,
a special election, whatever it is called, and to try and get to that 75%, change it to May for next year?
With the
I
online
think
vote,
the turnout would be so much higher.
but we're also delaying, we're asking for some more money.
We don't want to delay
And,
that.
and so we're going, okay,
I
we're gonna
like
make
that
that vote. And we're delaying that money for 2-3 months.
Next year,
potentially.
we could do that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Well, the other option is, we keep it in Portland, or Milwaukee, and then at this next meeting, change in the bylaws or whatever we need to do to change in the bylaws that we want to move this till, May 15th or June 15th or whatever. And have that be part of it.
So you would pass 2 years worth of dues.
I'm sorry?
By the time you move it to June, you're beyond getting your dues that are. through the 31st.
I think, you're right. In fact, online meetings and voting.
I think people are shifting to online meetings and votings. I think, the cadence of the meeting online will be faster.
Yeah, and it won't matter what the date.
And yeah, it doesn't matter if people can attend, you're still gonna be sitting in front of your computer. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get things done and move things forward. And I think the reality is most people in our community don't want to spend time on a Sunday in Milwaukee for 5 hours.
Yeah, let's face it, if you took average age of the attendees versus those that really are, savvy here, we're gonna cast a broader net if we have a really solid, online voting structure. And that's the real key in my mind moving forward. It's never going back. We don't use rotary phones anymore, so we're going that direction. So I understand that.
We should also look for ways to streamline the meeting. I live in an HOA on the other side of the mountain, and it dwarfs this in size, and our annual meeting lasts an hour.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's end the discussion on that one.
End
Go
the
to a call for a
discussion.
vote.
Call for a vote. Tammy,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
no.
Okay.
It passes.
Passes. So, new business, Memorial Weekend, that's the only thing I have for new business. Are we, it's coming up, we're meeting beforehand, so anything we need to be in prep for. Buck into the jar. Anything you need to, in prep for the Memorial Weekend? Any ideas? I know, Steve, you've got your thorough watch and security, you're gonna do a brief beforehand, which is cool. I appreciate you setting that up. Anything else we need to be aware of or talk about or just a good practice or reminder or anything moving forward before Memorial Day weekend. I mean, it's pretty automatic. Go ahead.
I got a question.
Randy.
Are we getting sheriff patrol? Random sheriff patrol?
They're invited.
They're invited, yeah. The reason why, because I just met with the sheriff this morning, one of them here. They're got staffing issues, so that's why I'm wondering if they're gonna be.
Yeah, it just, last year they were invited to, and each time, they were called out on a 911. So this year it's advertised that, if we have a problem, that it's not something that, our security can handle. Even the security is gonna call 911. Right.
Well, thanks again for securing that contract, because that was a biggie. So I know I'm ahead on my shout out piece, but thank you again, Steve, for that, for making that work. Anything else on Memorial Weekend? Pretty much standard operating. We'll be on site, or at least I will. So I'll be at your meeting and I'll have a handheld as well, just in case, you know, whatever, be aware. So if we're all good with that. All right, I'm gonna move on from that new business. I was gonna do member commitments, but I'm gonna keep that to the very end. I'm gonna move that down the list. I want to do the shout outs though. You know, give her an opportunity to say thank you, because we're gonna go into executive session here, and I've got our attorney, I've got him on a 15-minute call window. So I want to get into that. So shout outs. Anything, buddy, did something outstanding?
I wanted to just give a shout out. Meg already did to McAdams family for go above and beyond getting that acoustics thing set up in there. That
looks sweet.
From a design perspective, I think it looks great. I went in there, clapped my hands, try to figure out if the acoustics are great. You guys did a good job. Thank you very, very much. I think it looks good, and I think moving forward, we could have our board meetings down there if you'd like. We could do a test run. There's a lot of technology that's involved in making sure that that works down there. We could do a dry run on that, but that was one of our big goals. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Then Meg.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I look forward to having our meetings down there. That's just awesome. Again, I already made my shout out to Steve. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to do a shout out to the leadership team of the volunteer fundraising committee for stepping up and solving a big issue for us financially. I've been trying to buy a house in Phoenix since mid-March, and it's outstanding to know that you can still get banking done quickly.
We can talk about the terms.
It's just so huge that we were able to pass that with everybody pitching in. I think we all just had ourselves in the back on that one, getting that one done. From everybody had a play in. So thank you again, especially volunteers stepping up. I mean, immediately he's out of here and he's already on a dead run making it work. So very, very cool. Anybody else? Anybody else? Shout outs. Somebody did a nice job this year, or, you know, between last meeting, did a nice job where the
volunteers that are out in the background that we don't really know their names, and you know, they help back in the corner. I do know two people's names that I'm gonna bring up. And that is Chris Hoops. He was the guy that supplied all the stuff to pump, which is not cheap date on those parts that he used. And another one that probably doesn't, was well known around the neighborhood, and he helped me get rid of that crap that I tried to pawn it off on Kyle, but he wouldn't take it, and big heavy speakers and big wheelie board and stuff.
Technology.
Steve Dones, he goes, "Can I help with anything?" I go, "Man, how about you go to the dump for me?" And he took it in there, and he didn't ask me for any money, so you know, Steve Dones doesn't, his name gets brought up for much more different things. So, but I wanted to put it out there.
Cool.
All right. Appreciate all that. It's awesome. Okay, so just for heads up, our next meeting is going to be June 22nd, 9 AM, and we're going to change that from the annex to the So Meg down at, unless there's event center, unless there's somebody on the calendar. Okay,
What's the date on that?
June 22nd, 9 AM.
I'm a maybe.
Yeah, I won't be here. I won't.
Oh, I won't be here either.
We did the calendar last time. I thought we adjusted, but if something new came up, we can.
Did you ever get that we changed to the 20th?
Maybe it's July. Let me, yeah, look at the calendar here real quick. By the way, I'm getting some notices that people didn't, that there's no audio.
That was earlier.
Okay. Let's see, for June, I have the 22nd.
I won't be here.
Definitely come in. Yeah, I can zoom it.
You can't zoom from a golf course.
He won't be at the golf course. He'd rather be at my.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Well, I thought, yeah, so,
We put this in that because.
Actually, I'll be driving to.
Yeah.
July is gonna be iffy too for me. I'll have to.
oh, thanks, Rich. Yeah, Bobby Longora changed out all those lights down there and stuff, at the event center. Nice job.
Yeah.
Especially all the bird, dealing with all the bird prevention too.
hall, not the event center.
All right, well, I know Bobby's always there. He's always on top of stuff for us. Yeah, so 22nd, is that gonna be okay? Or do we need to change that to the 29th?
You said the last one, and I'm okay with all of them.
Yeah, so was I.
This, what we wrote down, then I can be here.
Well, the third Sunday in June is the 15th.
Father's Day, yeah.
That's why we.
That's when we moved it to the 22nd.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
then that's
available. I can't be here. I'm at a wedding in New York.
When are you available?
So are we good with the 22nd for June?
I am. It sounds like.
I won't be able to.
He's not.
Okay,
Only thing I have in July might be a problem. I'm having some pretty major facial surgery done on July 23rd, so I don't know. I could be probably Zoom that. I don't want anybody seeing me.
You'll be here on the.
well, the 27th is our board meeting, but we can Zoom it.
Yeah, I could Zoom it.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep the 22nd. Try to Zoom as much as you can. If we don't have a quorum, we don't have a quorum. There's not much we can do.
I'll try to Zoom it when I'm gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
I won't be, I'll be driving all day on the 22nd.
Okay,
We'll do it.
all right. Okay, so that's the calendar stuff. So that is the next meeting schedule unless we change something between now and then, but I'm putting it in the ink right now. Okay. Thank you all very much. We are going to go into executive session at this point. I'll ask for a motion for that. And the reason for that is we want to bring everybody, all the new members up with all matters legal. It's just information only. We're not going to get that far into the weeds, but do have to go through this because a lot of folks have not been up to date on that yet. And we do have one collection matter that we have to address. So those are the two reasons why we're going into executive session. So for everybody that was on the call, on the Zoom, thank you very much for attending. I don't know if you want to hang around till after we're out of executive, but yeah, thanks again all.
So is he coming in via Zoom or is he gonna be on your phone?
I'm gonna put them on my phone.
Okay.
So so I need to, hang on, I need to make a motion, that we are out of, we're out of. I'm gonna, 5 minute break. 5 minute break and then we'll come back, we'll address it. So we're gonna take a 5 minute break. Thank you.
You want me to kill the Zoom?
Yes, please, thank you. Yeah.
So Dave Biden has all the raffle stuff and the cash box and the whole thing.